As Chairman of the Executive Council of the British Paraplegic Sports Society, it gives me the greatest pleasure to start the official proceedings this morning by offering you my greetings and those of the members of my Executive Council and of our staff and those many helpers as your hosts.
I came 2 years ago, I think, to open another of these games, and on that occasion I greatly enjoyed having a chance to say a few words and to meet some of the competitors. I fear that probably many of you may not understand a single word that I'm saying, but I suspect that you won't miss anything at all. All I can say is that it does give me immense pleasure to be able to make a small contribution myself on a day like this, and to see all of you gathered here from so many different countries, all showing just what sheer determination and courage can do for all of us who are lucky enough to be able-bodied. So if I may now declare the 7th World Wheelchair Games, or the Paralympics 1984, open.
In the name of all competitors, I promise that we shall take part in these, the 7th World Wheelchair Paralympic Games, respecting and abiding by the rules which govern them, in true spirit of sportsmanship, for the glory of sport and the honor of our teams.
So, the 7th World Wheelchair Games finally underway. The able-bodied Olympics, of course, happening 6,000 miles away in Los Angeles. And these games originally scheduled to be held near Chicago, but the finance collapsed, and at the last minute they were changed to Stoke Mandeville here, which has done a heroic job at very short notice in coping with over 1,200 competitors from 42 countries. And the first showpiece event on the track, the men's 100-metre final. There in lane 6, Randy Snow from the United States. Next to him, Britain's Paul Cartwright. Then in lane 4, possibly the favourite, Ron Minor from Canada, heroically built, possibly better suited to the 200 and 400 where he holds world records. In lane 3 will be Hans Schroeder of West Germany. The Germans are very keen on track racing in wheelchairs. There's a major event at every big track meet in West Germany. In lane 2 is Keane of Holland, and Courtney of New Zealand brings up the 6th place on the inside, a really international field. As I say, Minor of Canada considered the favourite in lane 4. Fast racing wheelchairs, these, specially designed for speed, and a very good start there on the inside by Courtney of New Zealand. Surprising, he's got a whole wheelchair ahead of everybody else. Courtney of New Zealand flying away. Next to him, Keane of Holland. And in lane 4, coming up there strongly now is Ron Minor, but he's left it far too late, and it's a fast time as well. In fact, a new world record for Courtney of New Zealand. A surprise winner there, the New Zealander. 16.68, beating the previous record of 16.80 with Schroeder second, and a rather rueful Minor of Canada third.
The two guys, Courtney and Schroeder, got off to a fantastic start in the race, and and I unfortunately got out of the blocks kind of a little bit late, but started picking up ground and just ran out of room. But I am pleased with my time, pleased with the race. Those two guys, they deserved the race. They ran exceptionally well.
Well, Dorothy Ripley from Castleford holds the world record in this event, the women's shot put final, and her biggest threat is here, Milinkovic of Yugoslavia. Dorothy competing for 9 years. She's proud to admit to being a granny of 50, and she's even prouder of that world record. Milinkovic has already beaten the existing Olympic record in her early rounds, but now this is her final throw. She's done 5 meters 86. Which for a new Olympic record, but she's trailing Dorothy at the moment, and that doesn't look like an improvement, and the Yugoslav looks very unhappy.
The games mean to me a great deal, that I've succeeded in getting this far, and I'm going out to try my best to get them medals and to break my world record.
Well, that world record standing at 7 meters. She's already thrown 6 meters 67, so she's sure of the gold medal. But this is the final throw, and the follow-through there, tremendous, and it's very long way, 7 meters 19, a new world record for Dorothy Ripley from Castleford.
No lift. A majority decision again, 2 red lights.
When Russell has done that, then you'll go yours. And we'll get the timing up, so you're on the ball at the right time.
Got it! Tell me when you're ready, Brian.
I'm in the 57 kilo class. That's the featherweight class. The bench lift. The able-bodied record is far less. And they have an advantage, actually. They are using the feet. When you paralyse, you can't use your feet, using just your upper body and your bench pressing. In fact, we do compete with able-bodied, against able-bodied. The rules, everything are more or less the same. And, I mean, this is, people don't even know this. I mean, there's chaps down here lifting 3.5 times your own body weight. We have a chap from France, Pony, who, pound for pound, is the strongest man in the world, even more than Kazmar, body weight-wise. Pound for pound. The public don't know this.
Harris from the United States, the bar at 132.5 kilos, that's just over 290 pounds. Just making sure it's perfectly positioned. Having a few problems with the judges really locking out that right elbow. Tense lift for Harris. A signal from the referee to start lifting. Another nervous readjustment. And he's got problems, that's travelling all over, and the judges didn't like it. And no lift for Harris.
Just get the first lift in.
First lift, we'll give you a gold medal.
First lift counts. At an international standard, you need some kind of sponsorship. Some form of sponsorship anyhow. Or you just to keep there, to put the training and the hours, it's the expense is incredible. People just don't realise this, especially in this country.
Good lift. A test point setting of 11.6. This will introduce for his first attempt the stones from Great Britain.
Come on, Brian.
Come on, Brian. 11.6, chest setting load bar 142.5 kilos, 314 pounds.
Come on, baby, come on. No sweat.
Let's go.
No sweat.
The bar is loaded. Your 2 minutes start now.
So 2 minutes for 35-year-old Brian Stones from Barnsley to get himself settled and get ready to lift this 142.5 kilos. It's nowhere close to his own best, but in fact conditions here have been very tense, and as Brian was saying, an awful lot of competitors have ducked out of competition, whereas he's been going doggedly at the bar and has looked very competent. But he takes a lot of time psyching himself up, getting well prepared. Very experienced lifter, been in the last 2 Paralympics, and finally on his home territory must feel that with this lift he's got a chance to go for the gold. But he's not going to panic, he's not going to rush. The whole point about weightlifting is concentration and preparation. Clear the nose. You want to get as much oxygen inside you as you possibly can. Little hyperventilation, little relaxation of the shoulders, little manganese chalk on the hands to stop any chance of the grip slipping. And about a minute left, and he has actually lost 1 lift because he outran that 2-minute clock. So there's a little bit of time pressure on him now. 142.5 kilos, nearly 3 times his own body weight. It's a phenomenal thought. It's only lifting 3 times our own weight. And it's there, 3 white lights for Brian Stones from Barnsley. It's gold medal for the British lifter. A very emotional moment. His whole life been dedicated to weightlifting. And here's the reward. Under the stress of competition, produces that gold medal performance, locks out.
Gold medal, it's incredible, Olympic champion. When I came here I thought, good outside chance of bronze medal. But you see what's been happening all week, world-class lifters, everybody has been moving up and down body weights, and everybody's been psyching everybody out, and I stayed where I was, and it's paid, and I'm made up. It's, I didn't expect it to come like that. Outside chance of bronze, but Olympic champion, oh dear, that's great, smashing.
The men's basketball final between Holland and France, and very strong support here, particularly from the French, who, as you might expect, are very noisy, singing the Marseillaise. France, who in the early rounds lost to Great Britain, but on the repechage system came through to meet Holland. And pretty well balanced teams. The French perhaps more individual brilliance, as the French mascot in its wheelchair. Played under proper international basketball rules. A big squad, the French with a full squad of 12, the Dutch with 10, but only 5 aside, of course, on the court at any one time. And the French, some brilliant individual players. Number 12 there, Gradel. And immediately the French on the attack. Gradel really controlling the centre and trying to make the plays, particularly for Parsimane. What a physical game, wheelchair basketball. And whistled up there for 3 seconds inside the key. Obviously playing by international rules. Look out for the number 8 there. Parsimane, brilliant individual player. So it's the Dutch on the attack. This is Mackenzie. Down to the tall number 8. And again the ball intercepted. Parsimane, who's very, very skillful, gets it. across to the big number 9, the French. A quick break here. And gliding round the outside. Back to Gradel, number 12. And finds a break in the middle under the basket. And it's first blood for France. The tricolour flies. And this big crowd now cheering on the Dutch as they try to come back. But the French defence has been good, but they've allowed a break here. And stuck on the sideline a little. You've got to keep very mobile in this game. You've got to keep creating spaces. And you've got to time that run perfectly. And a very long-range throw there. Good shot by Holland. The French a little late in blocking. And Gradel calling his men on, the number 12. And the French just seem to have that extra effort. Here's Parsemin, who's a real individualist under the basket. And there he is, he's found the space. Oh, and a brilliant shot. Very, very good shot there by Parsemin. The French just seem to have that little bit of flair. They find that extra speed. There's a break here by the Dutch, though. But again, no one under the basket, no one to shoot at. Number 6, Mackenzie. Oh, and number 8 there, Style of Holland. Cut across in front of Beno of France. Accident, both men out of their chairs. The French accusing the Dutch. So the Dutch now under the basket. Breakaway, number 12. And a very good shot there by the number 9, Venema. A good crisscrossing passing movement. The French with a lot of space in this centre of the court. And Parsemin again steals it, and left-handed shot there straight in the basket. And the Dutch just don't seem to have the defensive capacity to handle these brilliant Frenchmen. But another attack building up again. This is Venema, who the last to score. Good dribbling there, but there's just no one he seems to be able to give the ball to. And the shot's missed. And an obvious foul under the basket there. Come on, say the French. They're ahead at the moment. And at half-time, the score 39-32 to France. So the Dutch coach trying to get the lads excited. In the second half now, the French coming down to this end of the court. And the ball everywhere. And the Dutch get the rebound and get it away. And a chance now for a fast break by the Dutch. Oh, a nice movement here. Mackenzie under the bar. There's no one with him. A nice reverse shot and misses. Just hits the rim of the basket. So the French now playing some of the other players off the bench. The Dutch seem to have played virtually the same squad throughout the whole game. Gradel, the number 12, is really the playmaker in controlling the game for the French. And this big number 9. Another long-range shot. The French get the rebound and they're still on the attack. And really you get the feeling that they're just holding on to their points lead. And the Dutch getting very frustrated. They just don't seem to be able to get any possession. The French don't see any enthusiasm to score. The ball in off the side. And the Dutch coach trying to get his team moving. They just don't seem to have any answer to the French. Well, that certainly isn't the answer. A body tackle. The number 11 there, Mashigiani, really squaring up. Are you crazy, he said? Are you loco? And Guillaume of Holland looks a little bit sheepish. But whistled up for that. And now this could be the last chance for the Dutch. A throw in from the side. And very good defence by the French. The seconds are ticking away. And the Dutch miss. And really, the French now are just playing out the clock. They just need to keep possession now, and victory is pretty well assured. And that was a very loose pass. The Dutch number 12 picks it up, Van Valzen. And there it is, the time's run out. Number 13, Guillemani, who came on right at the end of the second half, cheering his heart out. And in fact, Marchiani there, the other Frenchman, comes across. They're wrestling on the floor in jubilation. Of course, after winning the European Cup for soccer, they've now got this Olympic gold medal in basketball. It's been a good year for the normally fairly unsporting French. The final score then, France 60, Holland 56. The marathon, 26 miles, 385 yards, or if you prefer, 42 kilometres, 195 metres. 7:15 on a Sunday morning in the comfortable Buckinghamshire village of Chalfont St Peter, wending their way through leafy lanes back to the stadium at Stoke Mandeville. Saw there Peter Trotter and Rick Hansen. The Hansen there on the bottom left, who must be one of the favourites. Winner of the Australian Marathon last year. He's travelled the world many times. In fact, one of his ambitions next year is to actually make a complete circuit of the world in his wheelchair. And he's got the athletic build to carry it. 81 men, 15 women lining up together. 96 of them go in this marathon. Mel Fitzgerald, the magnificent bearded printer from Toronto, on the left there, ready for quite a fast start. And the Canadians are a very, very strong team here. Whether a team prize, the Canadians would wheel it. And so they're away. It's a fairly flat course. There are one or two hills, but generally speaking, it should be fairly fast. And it's Rick Hansen and Fitzgerald of Canada away right off the front. Immediately, they've decided to make a break to get away from the Australian trotter, who probably presents the biggest threat. And it's obvious the two Canadians, although they're wearing different vests, they are from the same country. And the break has absolutely split the field, and 3 Australians are left back there in the chasing group. And the athlete from Bahrain already looking a little tired. The Italian here, just like a cycle race, leading a group of 6 behind him. They're all running in single file to cut down any kind of wind resistance, though it's a very mild morning, and conditions really very good. It's warm, but not too warm. And a chance here for the two Canadians to give themselves a really fast time. They've obviously decided to share the pacemaking. And behind them you can see that on this little incline, it's really hard work taking a chair up some of these slopes. But generally speaking, it's not the most grueling course. It is fairly flat. The biggest problem could be pollution from the exhaust of those cars. At 3'6", it's right at your nose level. But the leaders are well away, but behind them, quite an interesting situation developing. The 3 Australians are in about 7th, 8th and 9th place. They've made a break to get away from the Italian behind them. And in this group here, Vigar of Canada in the white with Peter Trotter, that familiar headband, and Ron Minor of Canada are in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places. But no real chance, I don't think, of getting through unless they really work for each other to catch up with these two leaders, because they're looking really...
One of the things with a physical disability, like being in a wheelchair, is that it's so visible. People can see it. Oftentimes they imagine it to be much worse than it is. But you know, we all will have certain traumatic things that happen to us in a lifetime. It might be the death of a family member, or perhaps a divorce, or a bankruptcy, or perhaps a problem with alcohol. Disabled people reflect the same values that society has in general. And if the expectations are low, they don't expect us to be healthy, don't expect us to be independent, then by and large, you're not going to be. But I think it is changing. Our expectations are being higher. And I think that's good. Society should expect of us the same that they would of anyone else.
And the applause now picking up for Hansen and Fitzgerald, still together after 26 miles, but within sight of the stadium. A little adjustment on the tracking the front wheels by Rick Hansen. These are fairly sophisticated machines that they're racing in. And the crowd assembled in the stadium, welcoming them in. They can hear the police outriders. And now just a sprint down the home straight, and after all this distance, still together, Hansen on the left, Fitzgerald on the right, and Hansen's going to win the marathon by almost as close a margin as he won the 1,500 metres. And it's one of the fastest marathons ever, under 1 hour 50 minutes, incredibly fast time. That's averaging around 15 miles an hour. And Hansen winning by just under 2 seconds after all that distance from Fitzgerald, with Vigar making it 1-2-3 for Canada.
Oh, it all to Mel. Mel and I worked the whole way. We traded off, and we broke the guys early. We just hoped we could hang on, and we're two old men, and we got pretty lucky. We're going to get ready for LA. We have a race in Los Angeles at the Olympics, 1,500 meters. Both Mel, myself, and Andre. So the 1-2-3 finishes in the marathon. We're going to be trying our luck at some shorter distances. Got our work cut out for us with the Belgians and the Australian.
Well, what a breakthrough for disabled sport to come here to the Olympic Games, to a completely packed Coliseum, over 90,000 people. They will really have their first taste of top-class international racing in wheelchairs. What a wonderful sight this Olympic Stadium is, with the great peristyle down the end, and then the horseshoe of well over 90,000 people. And this is a marvellous field. Peter Trotter of Australia on the inside for this 1,500 metres. Mel Fitzgerald, who was second in the Stoke Mandeville Marathon, in lane 2. Jim Martinson of the USA in lane 3, with those very flashy leather gloves. Jürgen Geider from West Germany, who does everything from the sprint to the marathon. Randy Snow, one of the most experienced international racers, with the beard. Then Andre Vigar from Canada, third in the marathon in Stoke Mandeville. A powerfully built athlete. Rick Hansen next to him in lane 7 from Canada, who won 9 goals in the Pan American Games, Pan American Paralympics. And then Paul van Winkel of Belgium on the outside, again with a little protection around the biceps to stop any chafing from the wheel. And van Winkel, possibly the favourite. Certainly Hansen feels that the Belgians are well prepared, and that this will be our real first sight of van Winkel. 8 of them lined up in this men's 1,500 metres. And away on the inside, Trotter a little bit slow away in lane 3. Jim Martinson got a good start, but on the outside, really flying and cutting across the field, is Paul van Winkel of Belgium. And he's already opened up a 3-metre lead on the field.
It's not sports for the disabled, it's just sports. I see what I am trying to do is what I see many athletes trying to do in Los Angeles right now in the Summer Olympics. I'm just trying to see how fast I can run. I'm not trying to make a statement about rehabilitation or about disabled people in our society. Maybe that's a byproduct, and if that be the case, fine. But basically, I am just an athlete, and I run as fast as I can, and I train as hard as I can, and my challenge is that of an athletic challenge to see how good I can be.
When you're brought into an athletic realm, what do you have? You have the best in the world. Every athlete there is training 6-7 days a week, 2-3 times a day, and they're putting 100% into it, and they're pursuing excellence the best they can. And that's what it's all about. That's athletics. The recreation and the rehabilitation is there at the lower levels, but at the elite level, at the best in the world, it's just the wheelchair is secondary, the disability is secondary, and what you have is athletics.
So less than 200 metres to go now, and Paul van Winkel of Belgium must have 25-30 metres lead on the rest of the world. Peter Trotter of Australia holding second place on the inside there, but there are 5 men in that group chasing for second place, and it's anybody's silver medal. But out in front, and the crowd rising to acknowledge this performance of power and speed, is Paul van Winkel of Belgium. Now 30 metres clear, it's Randy Snow of America who's leading the chase in second place now. Vigar of Canada is third, but the winner, not a world record, but a fast time under 4 minutes, 3:58.58. Paul van Winkel of Belgium. He led from the gun right to the tape. A marvellous solo performance, and let's hope that that's convinced people finally that disabled sport is here to stay, and in 4 years' time in Seoul, perhaps it'll be accepted not just as a token sport, but as a real sport.